Away here, York and Bradford really do bring out the very best in each other when they meet, and this one is going to be no different. It's been 631 days since the stadium last saw competitive rugby league played, but Oddsley's reborn as Dixon Gales long downtown Danny Brough, and it is going to be Bradford captain Steve Crossley who will take the first tackle here at the newly reopened and regenerated Odsel Stadium, as Bradford just going to move the ball down the middle here on tackle 2 with Dan Fleming. Morgan Smith, we've talked a little bit about the pitch. How do you feel that's going to affect proceedings?
Obviously a narrow pitch is no good for players like myself as halfbacks, but it'll be tasted out middle. I expect a big battle through the middle third, and I suspect whoever comes out on top will play a big major factor, basically who wins the game.
Certainly going to be all about controlling that ball early doors, as we see Ben Evans. He is brought down on the 5th and last tackle, so Bradford have made 40 metres on this first set of 6 as Doyle goes to Lilly. Clarkson goes into Lilly. Good kick from Lilly. Ben Jones-Bishop just had to let that ball bounce up kindly, and Ben Jones-Bishop is brought down 12 metres shy of that halfway line. So York's first spell of possession in this game here this afternoon. As we said, 4 wins from their last 5. They're in the playoff places for the first time after a slow start to the season, and they will be looking to maintain that ascendancy and momentum here this afternoon as Odsel Stadium is back from the dead. As we see Jubb, a lovely short ball there, as York just starting to get a little bit of momentum down the middle, and we see Jubb again attacking the Bradford markers. The last tackle, they are just 20 metres out now. They fire the ball towards O'Hagan. O'Hagan, a crossfield kick, and that's a great take there from Mitiele Veliki Japani, on loan from Hull FC, the Fijian international. He has also represented Great Britain Army in the 7s and 15s of the other code, and that was a first good test there, Morgan.
Yeah, that's how we want to play our sets. Obviously, at the start of the game, we just want to put teams in corners and just make them work.
Crowd already appealing for 6 agains and penalties. Referee Ben Thaler, a lot of Super League experience, and I'm sure Ben Thaler will enjoy this one just as the players are, as Evans is brought down on that last tackle. Danny Brough, boot to ball, that one's going out on the full here. As we said, it's a very narrow playing surface. The RFL, the Rugby Football League, granted Bradford dispensation. It's just a couple of metres underneath the minimum standard, but it's certainly a very narrow and short playing surface. And when we spoke to James Ford before kick-off, clearly not happy that this has been granted dispensation, but as we said, the payoff is you get 4,000 fans inside the stadium, and certainly Bradford and York are certainly going to hopefully serve up a classic here this afternoon, as York, their first real attacking set of 6, and they're 15 metres out now, as we see Jubb in there at dummy half, gives it to Clarkson head down. Referee Ben Thaler happy that the pass was flat at best. Jubb now, O'Hagan, Teenby on his return to action. Jack Teenby pushed back in the field of play. Bradford having to have a thorough examination of their defensive capabilities in the opening moments of this game, and Brendan O'Hagan perhaps has just put a little bit too much pepper on that, as Jordan Lilly will take tackle 0 on a 7-tackle set here for the Bradford Bulls.
Yeah, we just overcooked that. The in goals are actually so small. I'm not sure if you can tell obviously on the screen and on your TVs at home, but when the view me and Mick have from up here, the in goals are actually minuscule.
Yeah, they're just, I think, 6 metres, just below 6 metres, we were told. So very narrow and tight here, as Bradford, on the back of that 7-tackle set, enter York territory for the first time, as Fleming offloads the ball to Doyle. Doyle goes probing on the edge. Good defence, though, from Matty Marsh. Matty Marsh come in and wrapped up young Tom Doyle. 30 metres out now. Murphy to Pickersgill. This game is just starting to liven up and heat up here in the sunshine at Odsel. Oakes, Brough, Crossley, back down the middle on the angle. Evans, good contact though from the York defenders. Jordan Baldwinson, the former Wakefield and Leeds man, standing tall. Last tackle here as it goes to Brough. To Pickersgill, out wide to Brown. Brown goes past Mikey Lewis, and there's the first try at Odsal in over 20 months. It goes to Joe Brown. He has 5 tries now for the season, and the Bulls fans going absolutely delirious on the terraces here at Odsal Stadium. Bradford, they do capitalise on the back of that 7-tackle set, and they lead by 4 points to 0.
Yeah, it was a good last tackle option there. Good set piece, and they just stripped us for numbers on the edge. 3-on-2. That's what you want to get on the end of your plays, and obviously we just couldn't defend it there. Good play from Bradford.
Joe Brown, he has been in fine form. Made 1 appearance for Wigan. Left the Bradford Bulls Academy, went through the Wigan Academy, won a couple of Academy Grand Finals, and then has arrived back at the Bradford Bulls. Danny Brough then, we're blessed with 2 excellent goal kickers here this afternoon. Kieran Dixon, 84%, third highest. Danny Brough, 91%. 4 from 4 last week, kicking at 26 from 29. And this one is just going to creep inside that right-hand upright. Got a little bit of help from the wind, but 6 minutes gone. Bradford going level with the clock. Bradford 6, York 0. Just see there, Bradford going on that left-hand side. Lovely cut-out pass. Ben Jones-Bishop just out of position there. Young Mikey Lewis left with a little bit too much to do there. And the message will have come up from James Ford Morgan. You know, you've conceded early. There's a long, long way to go in this one. Yeah,
it's just that next job mentality. It's obviously not nice to concede an early try, but game's only just begun. It's just on that next job. Complete the next set, get back into that arm wrestle, and then hopefully score some points.
Back underway here with the reliable boot of Kieran Dixon, and York are going to get the ball back from the restart here with Matty Marsh. So Bradford couldn't quite deal with that Kieran Dixon restart, and here goes Jordan Baldwinson. York about to strike back immediately from the restart here. Clarkson to Teamby. Once upon a time, formerly of the Dewsbury Rams. Teamby gets to his feet. Jubb pinches one out of dummy half. He's rattled the post there. Ben Thaler says held up. Pickersgill has managed to twist Will Jubb up and over the line, and York are going back to the 10-metre line. A couple of tackles remaining here. Will Jubb, a number of former Hulkinson Rovers players in this York side, as it's head straight down there from Danny Kermond, and Kermond on top of that Bradford line on that 5th and last tackle. Jubb's in there at dummy half. O'Hagan, clever kick, puts pressure on, and Jordan Lilly does exceptionally well there. Good kick chase. Ryan Atkins was looking to ground the ball in the in-goal area there, and Bradford concede a repeat set of 6. That was much better there from Brendan O'Hagan Morgan. That was perfectly weighted into space in that in-goal area.
Yeah, that's exactly what we want. That's how we want to finish his sets. It was a good response. Obviously, Bradford have just put points up board, but that's just how we want to play now. Put Bradford under pressure, and hopefully we can get back on the scoreboard.
Well, I'm sure you could see on the pictures back at home the impressive stock car speedway track that goes round this famous playing surface. There was a meeting last Saturday which had a sellout crowd, and there's going to be a sellout crowd tomorrow on Bank Holiday Monday, so 4,000 back inside Odsal tomorrow for that one, as the stadium certainly being used a lot more regular than just for rugby league action, and that is the key, how to make it viable in the long term, as we see Chris Clarkson just entangled there with Ben Evans. The referee Ben Thaler has stopped the clock, and on will come the physio, although Chris Clarkson, a grand final winner with Leeds, happy to continue, as we see Liam Salter brought down 5 metres out. York knocking on that door. Jubb to Baldwinson. O'Hagan drops the shoulder, tries to pirouette towards the post. It goes to Marsh. Marsh back to Kermond, and Danny Kermond, he goes on a little bit of a run and offloads the ball back to Jubb. Jubb wrapped up, 5th and last tackle here. York knocking on that Bradford door. It goes back to O'Hagan. Crossfield kick, looking to put Veliki out of position, but that's a try in at the corner. Kieran Dixon's got that one down for mine, and the referee concurs Great try there. Immediate response from the York City Knights. After forcing Bradford to concede that goal line dropout, they make it pay, and it's 6 points to 4.
Yeah, that's exactly what we wanted, obviously. Respond to Bradford. That's a lot better finish to a sets, and I've seen Kieran Dixon finish many tries like that, acrobatically, and it was a great finish.
Tremendous kick there from Brendan O'Hagan, using all his experience, looking to put Veliki Japani under a little bit of pressure in that corner. Just lost his bearings in the sunshine. And Kieran Dixon, great pair of arms to put that one down in the corner. Very narrow in goal areas here. But Brendan O'Hagan, he has found his kicking accuracy. Can Kieran Dixon do the same? He has a very unorthodox approach to piloting the ball between the posts. Can he do that here this afternoon, as that one has struck gold and we're locked up here? It's the Betfred Championship. Bradford 6, York 6. And Morgan, if the first 10 minutes are anything like we're going to see in the next 70, we are in for a rugby league treat this afternoon.
Yeah, it's going to be a battle, especially with the temperature as well. It'll be interesting to see who breaks next. In the middle third, they're going strong, carry for carrier, so we'll see who gets on the scoreboard next.
Do you think Bradford will be a little bit disappointed with how they failed to deal with that restart and then letting that try in on the last tackle?
Yeah, it's not the best after points. You get your tails up a bit and you want to go again and keep scoring and putting the other team under pressure, and just to have a mistake like that, it just lets the other team get their hopes up and get back into the game.
Well, that's a big hit there from Welsh international Rhys Evans. Oh, he'll feel that one in the morning. Jump straight out of dummy half down the middle with Baldwinson. Both coaches did fear it might go down the middle, it might get a little bit fiery and physical. Jordan Baldwinson looks like he doesn't know where he is, and the referee Ben Failer showing a degree of concern. He's just going to halt proceedings here and allow the physio to attend to the former Leeds man. He's been at York since 2019. He also made 7 appearances for Bradford once upon a time under Francis Cummins back in 2014, and he has also had a spell in the NRL with the New Zealand Warriors. And the saying, Jordan Baldwinson will have to go off for a head injury assessment, a HIA. So what does this do for James Ford and York? He's made a strong stuff, Jordan Baldwinson. Huge blow, Morgan, if he has to leave due to a HIA. Yeah,
he's a big body, and especially coming through that middle third, it's what we need. We need some strong carries, and he's got some good hands for a big boy as well. But as you see, big James Green, he's coming on. He'll add some fire through his middle third, so yeah, it'd be interesting.
So one former Bradford player leaves the field and another former Bradford player comes on. James Green, 29 appearances and 3 tries for Bradford in his 2 years here, as they look for a 40-20 or a 20-40, and that one's going to go into touch. The referee looks for the touch judge, and he's going to get the call, but that will be Bradford head and feed just outside the 20. That one went in. Nice little effort though. Certainly Bradford were out of position, and it looks to me that James Ford has done his homework, and it's looking like Mitiele Veliki Japani is certainly going to be put under a lot of pressure over on Bradford's right edge here. But 6 points apiece here, a lively opening, 2 quality tries. Joe Brown for the Bulls, Kieran Dixon for the York City Knights. As Brad England is this pushed back behind the advantage line there on that tackle. Bruce calling for it, but it goes from Doyle to Evans. Evans is brought down 5 metres shy of halfway. Here goes Steve Crossley, offloads the ball back to Doyle. Doyle looks to keep it going as Doyle's rolled over on his back. Bradford inside York territory here. Brussin at dummy half, down the middle with Crossley now. The York yellow-shirted defenders just throwing themselves out of that defensive line. It's going to go to Danny Brough. Kicks on the inside. Lilly with the pressure there. Also, Mitiele Veliki Japani. Dixon's lost the ball forward. York are offside. That's a penalty to the Bradford Bulls. And talk about that for a thunderous tackle, a thunderous collision. Someone installed TCAS in the players.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to be on the end of that one. He just absolutely clattered him there. He flew into him with everything he had.
Mittielli, Veliki Japani, absolutely clean. Kieran Dixon out. Dixon's feet both on the floor, and John Keir realises this one is going to be a tight game this afternoon, and he has sent on the kicking tee for Danny Brough to take what could be a valuable 2 points. While Danny's attempting this, Morgan, give us a little bit of an update on yourself. When can the York fans expect you back?
So I'm more or less 11 weeks post-op now. I ruptured my ACL before the season even begun. I'm hoping to start running next week, and then we'll see how we go, really. I think the minimum return to play is 6 months, so possibly catch the end of the season, but we're not too sure at the minute. It's just day-by-day stuff.
Danny Brough adds the extra 2 points. So here at Odsal Stadium, Bradford Bulls 8. The York City Knights 6. And I tell you what, I would not want to be Kieran Dixon. Not only are you contending with the sunshine in your face, but you've got all 20 stone of Mittielli Veliki Japani coming into view.
Yeah, I suspect he's a strong boy as well. Obviously coming from, is it the army maybe? Yeah.
He's come from the army, yes, as Bradford can't deal with another York City Knights restart. I think it was Brad England who palmed it back, but it has gone into touch. So James Ford clearly going to use the narrowness of the field to York's advantage. And yeah, Mittielli Veliki Japani representing the British Army in the 47th Gunner Regiment. So certainly not a person to be messed with. But York looking to get the lead here on this set of 6 as we go down the middle here with Green. Good little inside pass there from Clarkson. Green will play the ball 10 metres out. Jubb to O'Hagan along the line, but that's good defence there as Sam Scott's run, the former Sheffield man, his run is halted. Lewis is in there at dummy half to Green. Green, head down, held up on his back, and York will go back to the 10, and that is the second time in the opening 20 minutes that the York City Knights have been held up over the Bradford Bulls try line. A couple of tackles remaining here for James Ford's side. Jubb, O'Hagan to Marsh, to Kermond. Kermond push back. Last tackle play here. Salter. It goes to O'Hagan. Another crossfield kick looking to test Veliki Japani. York have lost the ball, but the referee gets the call from the touch judge inside the 10. And that'll be the second penalty of the afternoon. And that is another offside decision against that kick chase. And the referee points towards Kieran Dixon. So just on that occasion, just ahead of the kicker. But you can see what they're doing. They might not like having to contend with Mittielli Veliki Japani when he's coming and trying to do some defending himself. But certainly York in attack. They've targeted him twice now. They see him as a weak link. Yeah,
I think we've finished all of the sets on the left side with all kicks. So yeah, we must obviously a weakness there. But if he does catch it, I'm sure he'll retain it with some flavour.
Dan Fleming wrapped up in a three-man tackle on the halfway line here for the Bradford Bulls. Like I said earlier, Odsal, it's a rugby league marriage made in heaven, sunshine, open terraces and rugby league. No better place to watch the great sport of rugby league than Odsal when the weather is like this. As Danny Brough gives it to Lilly, to Pickersgill, goes to Evans. Evans runs on the inside and Bradford 20 metres out here on the fifth and last tackle. Crossfield kick here from Danny Brough. Aaron Murphy and Jordan Lilly chasing it. Mikey Lewis has let it bounce, but the referee will say penalty because Mikey Lewis has been impeded. So that try will not count to Brad England. And Mikey Lewis is down, receiving attention there. Steve Crossley has a word with Ben Failer, but we can hear what Ben Failer's saying. They're saying Mikey Lewis, both feet off the ground. There was contact to the young full-back on loan from Hulkeston Rovers, and he is receiving attention here from the York City Knights physio. Morgan, how did you see that one?
Yeah, we're causing a few issues for us with the high kicks, obviously from Danny Brough and Jordan Lilly. We just need to try and deal with those and get into that arm wrestle.
Well, Mikey Lewis receiving attention. This could be another HIA assessment. Jordan Bolwinson has also left the field, and he's going to get the thumbs up. So Mikey Lewis doesn't need the HIA. Just see the replay there. Jordan Lilly just ever so slightly backed into Mikey Lewis there. Both feet off the ground. No complaints on that penalty decision that has been awarded. And a chance here now for York just to move the ball forward. Bradford 8, York 6 here at Odsal Stadium. At half-time we'll preview and review some of the other action this afternoon from the Betfred Championship, because this could be the most competitive championship round yet, as a forward pass there is picked up from Jubb to Green, and referee Ben Failer got the call from the touch judge on this main stand side, and he said that one ever so slightly had gone a metre or so forward. But just going back to the original point there, you've got Batley against Swinton, Halifax Featherstone, London Dewsbury, Oldham Widnes and Sheffield Whitehaven all playing each other this afternoon. And this could really be the most competitive championship round yet, as Bradford now back inside the York half as it goes down the middle here with England rolled over on his back. Doyle's in there at dummy half. He'll get to his feet. Goes right towards Lilly. Lilly now, good sharp running. And York defending, trying to stop that offload. Bradford, you can see where they are, 25 metres out from that York try line. Brough down the middle now with Fleming, the Welsh international. The Bulls fans start to beat the drum. That's the heartbeat. Danny Brough, lovely flick on reverse pass on the inside there. Did well. Did young Tom Doyle to keep hold of that one. And Bradford, familiar territory for them. They're on the last tackle. Goes back to Danny Brough. They're going to run it. Now to Lilly. Goes to Pickersgill. Pickersgill plays it through. And Brendan O'Hagan, he has that in his arms and he's got a foot race here. Here goes the Fijian flyer. It is Vitaly Mikijipani. Joe Brown does well. Tries to tackle from Joe Brown. And Joe Brown in his act of tackling Kieran Dixon and halting him from going to the try line. Dixon has lost the ball, and that is a try-saving tackle, one of the try-saving tackles of the season. The Bulls fans, they're celebrating this as if they've scored a try.
Yeah, we tried turning defence into attack there with little Brendan. I wasn't sure his little legs were getting there, and when he passed it to Dicko then I thought he was going to get all the way, but Joe Brown, yeah, he come up with a spectacular tackle there to save Bradford.
Well, you could see what Brendan O'Hagan was thinking. He was on that far stand touchline. He probably could smell and hear the breath of Mitiele Velikijapani just bearing down on him. So went on the inside. Kieran Dixon, as we know, has a lot of speed and a lot of room. And Joe Brown just come out of nowhere. Bearing in mind Joe Brown's over on this main stand wing. It was a phenomenal pace of work there from Joe Brown. That could be the difference come the end. We've only had 20 minutes gone though, but this one is really, really heating up here as Joe Brown now, he opened the scoring for the Bradford Bulls, and he's rolled over on his back there by Liam Salter. We're about to see Oliver Wilson come on the field. Bradford awarded the first 6 again of the afternoon for York just delaying the play of the ball in the eyes of the referee Ben Failer. Doyle now to Brough, misses out Murphy, finds Pickersgill. Down the middle it goes with Oakes. Oakes is brought down by Marsh. Oliver Wilson comes on the field. He'll feel like he's back at home as Steve Crossley just decides to take the tackle, and they're inside the York 20-metre line. Wilson calls for the ball. They go on the short side. Lilly, mesmerising run. Jordan Lilly, he has the dancing feet, and he will pirouette his way past 6 York defenders, and Bradford have their second try of the afternoon, and it's just to the side of the post. It's Bradford 12, York 6, and James Ford will be hugely disappointed by that defensive spell there, Morgan.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. We'll just have to see it again, but they're a big gap through the middle third. It's just an overchase from Greeny there at A, which Jordan obviously exposed. He just went straight through the gap. Marshall couldn't do much there within the cover tackle. He had too much to do, but good try.
Yeah, he could just ever so slightly see. He just ever so slightly switching too far to his left, and teammate, there was a gap. And Jordan Lilly, eyes like dinner plates. He plotted his course towards the line, and it's Bradford Bulls 12, The York City Knights 6 here, and Danny Brough looking to make it 3 from 3 here at a sun-drenched, baking hot Odsal Stadium. This could be a crucial 2-score opening here for the Bradford Bulls this afternoon, as Danny Brough pilots that one between the posts. So Bradford Bulls 14, the York City Knights 6. Jordan Lilley, his second try of the season, and we've just gone past the quarter mark of this game. 23 minutes gone on the clock, and that could be a crucial second try of the season for Jordan Lilley. We just see there James Green ever so slightly drifted too far to the left. Teamby and Marsh, they couldn't get back. Chris Clarkson, the captain of the York City Knights, he was having a little bit of a harsh word with some of the players behind the post there. And here goes Oliver Wilson on his return to the Bradford Bulls. Played 2 games for the first team before his departure to the Huddersfield Giants. And now York have compounded the problem here because they're a little bit too energetic in defence, and they're offside, according to referee Ben Failer. What's the message going to be from James Ford as we see the York trainer come on and obviously bring that communication on from James Ford?
We just need to calm it down a little bit. Not the ideal start from the kick-off. We've just conceded points. We just need to steady the ship again and get back into that arm wrestle.
Fleming. Push back there. Both Fleming, Crossley doing a lot of metres early doors here and a lot of minutes. And talking of meters, Bradford captain Steve Crossley there, relishing that challenge up front with Danny Kermond. Here goes Oliver Wilson. He'll be brought down just outside the 30-metre line. Made over 20 appearances so far for Huddersfield. Looking to get back in first team contention under Ian Watson. We're about to see Will Jubb leave the field with Chris Bringing coming on, as Crossley goes now to Wilson, to Lilley, to England. Good defence though. Sam Scott coming in over the top, although the referee will penalise Sam Scott here, and he's going to penalise Brendan O'Hagan and Sam Scott actually for a flop there. And Jordan Lilley says Danny Brough will have another 2 points here.
Yeah, we just have to be careful a bit here. It could be a slippery slope. We don't want the gap between ourselves and Bradford to get too big. We want to stay in this game and make it good competition.
Well, pleasing news from a York perspective. Jordan Bolwinson has passed the HIA, so he's going to be coming back out on the field. And we've just seen the 5th penalty that's gone the way of the Bulls in this first half. And we've already seen Danny Brough accept 2 points previously, so James Ford will be getting the message out about the discipline. Danny Brough, career appearance, certainly at league level, 504. Great servant to the sport of rugby league, and that will be an extra 2 points for Danny Brough. And it's 16 points to 6 here at Odsal Stadium. 26 minutes gone, and I'm guessing the message from James Ford, Morgan, is going to be all about that composure and just watch that discipline.
Yeah, it's killing us at minute. Too many penalties, and obviously with a great kicker like Danny Brough, you're going to opt to take those points and just keep stretching that gap between us, Bradford and themselves.
Kieran Dixon, will it be another troublesome testing restart here? Well, that one has been dealt with by Danny Brough, who somehow managed to keep both the heels of his boots away from that dead ball line. Exceptional play there from Danny Brough, and that was perfectly weighted from Kieran Dixon. Bradford do ever so slightly have a bit of a favourable wind in this first half. That is going from right to left, but this is the response James Ford would have wanted. 3 tackles in, Bradford still inside their own 20-metre line as Doyle just realises there's a little bit of trouble here. Bradford not making the metres on the restart, and he will make 10 metres out of dummy half, and now he'll go to Steve Crossley. Been doing big minutes recently. Bradford on the last tackle. That's a good defensive set from the City Knights, restricting Bradford to just 40 metres as Jordan Lilley sends one down towards Ben Jones-Bishop, and the former Wakefield, Salford and Leeds man with the scrum cap, the Jamaican international, he is going to meet Oliver Wilson and Tom Doyle head on. Mikey Lewis out of dummy half to Dixon. Dixon's just going to front up, but there's Doyle Brough, Oakes, also Murphy involved in that defensive effort. Atkins now, good leg drive. Carries York inside Bradford half. Ryan Atkins, born in the city of Bradford. Just made one appearance for the Bulls when he started out on his career back in the 2005 season. But there's a chance here now for the York City Knights just to build something here as we head towards the half-hour mark. Ball's been stolen in the tackle in front of the post, and that's a silly penalty for Bradford to concede, Morgan, because that's on the last tackle, and York now are just being granted a fresh set of 6 in a dangerous position. Yeah,
they're the coach killers. I know it's been a tough battle that through the middle third, but you can't afford those, especially on the 5th tackle.
Well, just want to say good afternoon to everyone joining us from the Bootham Tavern, which is just round the corner from York's previous home, Bootham Crescent. We know they've got it on in the big screen there, and you might be all cheering, and John Flatman wanted to say that he appreciates you supporting the club. Brendan O'Hagan, a lovely short ball there. York now looking for their second try, a crucial try it would be, as it goes from Cuthbertson. O'Hagan, good defence though as Kerman's wrapped up. Murphy really had to make that a ball and all tackle, leaving the line exposed. Bringing in there at dummy half, Cuthbertson. Down the middle they go, but that's good defence from the Bulls. Scrambling on the last tackle. They're going to go over on that left-hand side. O'Hagan takes the line on, somehow gets the ball to Mikey Lewis. Mikey Lewis can't keep the ball in. Ryan Atkins, and it's on here. Something's happened off the ball. And referee Ben Thaler, he'll use all that Super League experience to split these two sides up. No love lost between the Bulls and the City Knights. We knew it would be a fiery and fiercely competitive afternoon, and the referee will just stop the clock here. But that's a chance gone begging from York there. Mikey Lewis, if he somehow, Morgan Smith just keeps hold of the ball and gets a flick on pass, York are in at the corner.
Yeah, it's not just that, it's just about building pressure. We could have done with putting it in a corner again, maybe getting an error from the kick, or just pinning them down in the corner and making Bradford work and come off their own line.
Well, referee Ben Thaler just wanted a word with the Bradford captain Steve Crossley, and I'm sure it's going to be a penalty to York for what has happened off the ball. And Ben Thaler now, he's going to say that is after Mikey Lewis had knocked the ball on. So the referees have seen some foul play, and York, another fantastic opportunity here to get their second try. Here goes Jordan Baldwinson. First tackle, rolled over on his side. 5 metres out. Chris Bringing. Down the middle it goes with Cuthbertson. Pushed back in the field of play there by Oliver Wilson. Marsh. Will he apply the dancing feet? He's rolled over. Oliver Wilson gives away the 6 again. This is now 4 consecutive sets of 6. Can York make it pay? It goes out wide towards Dixon. Dixon's wrapped up. So York have had their first 6 again of the afternoon, as it goes back to Brendan O'Hagan. Now it goes down the middle with Baldwinson. Good defence though from Steve Crossley. Brinning goes to Marsh. Back on the inside now with Kerman. Kerman, lovely little offload. Danger here. But Bradford's defence scrambles back. And the referee will say Chris Bringing has to play the ball in the field of play. Mikey Lewis is in there at dummy half. Brendan O'Hagan on that left-hand edge. To Atkins, Ryan Atkins against his hometown club. Ryan Atkins twists, turns, ball down, try, and it's Bradford 16, York 10.
That's exactly what we needed there. Just that's what I was trying to say, just building that pressure. I know we were fortunate to get a penalty awarded to ourselves, but we just needed that try.
Bradford be a little bit disappointed with letting that one in. It's come on tackle number 4, but we can just see there Jordan Lilly just went a little bit too high there on Ryan Atkins, and Ryan Atkins has try number 3 for the season. And the former Wakefield and Warrington man, the former England international, he will certainly enjoy that one against the club way back at the start of his playing career. Let him go. So, Kieran Dixon, is this to narrow the gap to just 4 points here at Oxford Stadium on a baking hot spring afternoon in the sunshine? He converted his try over on that far stand side. He adds a crucial extra 2 points, and it is 16 points to 12. And that try, Morgan Smith, it's come at a really interesting time, because we're 7 minutes out from half time, and you don't want to be going into the sheds more than a couple of scores down. York firmly back in this game.
Yeah, definitely. We were struggling about, I'd probably say 5 minutes ago, and the tides have turned. We've got ourselves back into the game. We've worked hard, and we've been rewarded with points. So hopefully we can build on that now.
Danny Brough get proceedings back underway. A deep and long kick. Brendan O'Hagan just checked to make sure his heels were still in the in-goal area. And as we said, Bradford and York, two sides who really do bring out the very best in each other. Of the previous 6 meetings, 4 have been decided by 2 points or less, and that shows you just the competitive nature of both sides. The last time they met, it was back in 2019 when a Liam Harris drop goal, now at Halifax, was the difference that saw York win. A real pulsating Betfred Championship tie by 25 points to 24. As we said, these two sides really do bring out the best in each other. As we see Sam Scott just inside Bradford territory here on the 5th and last tackle of that York City Knights restart. It goes back to Brendan O'Hagan. Hagan put under pressure by Doyle. Pickersgill's happy to let this one bounce. Joe Brown takes it 5 metres out from his own try line, and he's going to be brought down 11 metres out from his try line there on tackle number 1. Lily now to Mitiele Veliki-Japani, who's coming in and just alleviating a bit of the burden on the forwards. Pickersgill straight down the middle. This one just levelling up here. Could have been a 6 again. Danny Brough now. Eben Skur, his first carry of the afternoon. Gets the quick play, the ball in. Danny Brough looks for a 40-20. Mikey Lewis alert to the danger. That one's gone backwards. He was facing his own try line there, and Mikey Lewis does exceptionally well. And when you've got a player like Danny Brough out there with 504 league games experience, Morgan, you know you're in for a bit of a torrid afternoon dealing with those crossfield kicks, bombs, and those kicks in general play. Oh,
definitely. From the past, from what I've seen, where everybody knows he can kick a ball, and that's one of his main attributes, and that's what he brings to this Bradford side.
O'Hagan, a lovely hop, skip, jump there. Pass on the inside to Ben Jones-Bishop. Dixon straight out there of dummy half. York finishing the stronger of these two sides, and we've got 5 minutes to go to half time as O'Hagan goes back down that middle channel here with Jordan Baldwinson. Last tackle here, says referee Ben Thaler. York have extinguished their 6 tackles. Marsh going for the power play. Forward pass towards Ben Jones-Bishop, picked up by Danny Brough, but the referee had already blown the whistle, and Danny Brough, he might protest, but the referee had already put whistle to lips, so his run was halted. And York once again, a solid set of 6, Morgan, but just a little bit flat on that last tackle.
Yeah, not the best of finishes, but Bradford still have to make their way up the field from the own 10-metre line. We just need a big defensive effort, and hopefully we can pin them down.
Well, keen, eagle-eyed Bradford supporters might see a yellow-shirted Sam Hallis running on and off the field. He will be back next week for the game against Newcastle Thunder, as we're about to see Ashton Goulding come on for his Bradford Bulls debut. And Oliver Wilson looking to carry Bradford out of a bit of trouble here in midfield. Lily to Skur. Skur straight into Marcus Stock there. But Marcus Stock, aided and abetted there by Danny Kerman, does exceptionally well. Goulding goes in at dummy half, gives Tom Doyle a little bit of a breather. Ellis Robson, his first carry of the afternoon. We have 3 minutes to go to half time here. Bradford on the last, inside the York half, as Danny Brough puts a difficult one here for Kieran Dixon. But Kieran Dixon and all that experience that he has, he does exceptionally well there, does the former England Knights. And as we said, 180 games at Super League level. He really is a key asset for the York City Knights. Bradford 16, York 12. Mikey Lewis goes on a run out of dummy half. Really competitive game, this one. Really bubbling, really simmering as Liam Salter goes past Goulding. Goulding comes back in and wraps him up, and now it's the last tackle for James Ford's Knights. O'Hagan under pressure from Wilson. Sends it down to Brown. Brown does exceptionally well. Had to leap forward, protect the ball, and he's brought down on his own 20-metre line. Where do you feel this game's going now, Morgan? We've sort of like entered that chess stage where both sides, you know, not afraid to make too much of a dangerous move.
This is what you want. You want this as a fan anyway. You want this competitiveness and this back and forth from each team. But it's looking like who's going to break next. That's a big question. And before half-time, neither side wants to concede again. So I think both sides would see it as a win if we could go in at half-time at the score.
Well, we're into the final couple of minutes of this first half. Eben Sker, a big, strong, penetrating run, and it's a last tackle here. The referee has given Bradford a last tackle set restart, so the tackle count will refresh. That was on the 5th and last tackle, and Bradford now, they're looking for their 3rd try in this first half. That could put a little bit of daylight between themselves and the City Knights. Just before that half-time hooter, as Brad England fronts up. Marcus Stock did exceptionally well, but Golding goes out a dummy half. Golding! Tremendous, superhuman power and pace! He's gone past the 2 York City Knights markers, and that's another soft try that the York City Knights have conceded, and that one is right on the stroke of half-time, and Ashton Golding is on a 2-week loan from the Huddersfield Giants. And the Jamaican international will enjoy that one. Look at Golding go, just catching the marker square. Danny Kermond. Just a bit too easy there, Morgan.
Yeah, it just came off back of a quick play ball, and Hooker's not Ash's natural position. Obviously, we all know he's a full-back, but he's strong, he's fit, and he's got good hands, so he can fill in anywhere, really. And I think he has played a bit of hooker when he was at Leeds before. And just to come back off an injury, especially the one that he had, that'll be a big lift for himself and his confidence.
Well, that try awarded right on the stroke of the half-time hooter here, as the Bradford Bulls arrive back at Grand Old Lady Odsal Stadium, the scene of so many highs and lows and many happy and treasured memories, as Danny Brough pilots that one between the posts. That was a crucial call by the referee there, Morgan Smith. On the last tackle, a set restart. The only time, the second one of the afternoon for Bradford.
Yeah, we say it over and over again. It's not just this game, but previous games. You can't afford to compact penalties and sets. It's more than likely going to lead to points.
Well, the referee was talking to a couple of players there. I'm not sure what's happened after the try's been scored, but he wants a word with Adam Cuthbertson and Ashton Golding. An incident has been placed on report there by Ben Thaler. He's saying he's spoken to the touch judges and he's not quite sure what has happened, but that incident is on report, and the RFL disciplinary will review that one in the coming days. So, into time added on at the end of this first half. Bradford 22, York 12. A fantastic competitive spectacle from the Betfred Championship as Aaron Murphy gets to his feet. Golding's in there at dummy half. Ross Oakes just alleviates the burden on some of those forwards. Danny McKerman comes in. Now it goes in centre field to Robson, on loan from Warrington. 2 tries last week in a 33-8 win over the London Broncos. There's a flat pass there out of dummy half. He's going to see Oliver Wilson up to halfway. So at the end of this first half, Bradford, well, they might be going further in front here, because Brandon Pickersgill has been caught high by Jordan Baldwinson, says referee Ben Thaler. And John Keir says we'll get the kicking tee on. Is this discipline a concern, Morgan Smith? Because if Danny Brough puts this one between the posts, that'll be 6 points off the back of penalties.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it seems like when we get into a position where we're getting back into that arm wrestle, a penalty just lets the pressure off and points just keep flooding in from these penalties.
Well, we've just heard the hooter sound in the background. And again, James Ford, he'll be looking to get his players in the dressing room and reassess where York are at, but just when you felt York were finishing the stronger of the two sides, Ashton Golding with some magic. Danny Brough yet to miss this afternoon on the Odsal return. That one goes between the posts, and at half-time here at Odsal Stadium, Bradford Championship round 8, one of the ties of the round. Along with Bradford Council and Star Trek Stock Car and the RFL, they have been working together on the Odsal project for the last 6 months, and it does feel good to be back. So we're here at the start of the second half, and we'll see what happens elsewhere in those games, but it's Bradford 24, York 12 here, as York have first use of the ball here, and they have the wind behind them crucially in this second half, as we see Chris Clarkson brought down there on halfway, Oliver Wilson and Ashton Golding, the two Bulls defenders. Chris bringing to Baldwinson. Now it's going to go to Cuthbertson. Cuthbertson gets a quick play of the ball in. O'Hagan sends that one up into aerospace. Joe Brown does well. And from his own try line, he will take tackle number 1 for the Bradford Bulls. Mick Gledall, Morgan Smith this afternoon on the Our League app, and as we said, despite there being 4,000 fans in here, if there wasn't the COVID-19 regulations, there'd be many more inside Odsal Stadium this afternoon, certainly with the bank holiday weather as resplendent as it is now. What's the reaction going to be from York like going to be at the start of this second half, as we see Eben Skur restricted to just a handful of metres on that play of the ball. Ashton Golding to Wilson. Wilson brought down in a 4-man tackle, and it's the last tackle for the Bradford Bulls here. Golding to Brough. That's going to test Mikey Lewis in the sunshine. Mikey Lewis does exceptionally well. Lays it off here to Dixon. And Dixon just going to be caught there by Evans and Veliki Japani. And York now, they have to attack from deep with Ben Jones-Bishop making some good metres forward. O'Hagan's in there at dummy half. Chris Clarkson, great servant to the sport of rugby league. Just shy of halfway here. Lewis rolled over there, just inside the Bradford half. Chris bringing. Now it goes to O'Hagan. Back on this left edge to Scott. Sam Scott goes past Brad England. Can't go past Ellis Robson and Ashton Golding. And York are on the 5th and last tackle. And once again, it's going to be the right boot of Brendan O'Hagan. And Bradford might just let that one bounce, but they're not. Great diffuse there from Brandon Pickersgill. And Pickersgill wants to turn defence into attack. But to be fair to the referee here, Ben Thaler, Bradford did have players ahead of that 20-metre line. They weren't all back. I know the crowd will appeal that, but the referee's got that one spot on. How important is it, Morgan Smith, York get that next try, get the next points here?
Yeah, we need that massively for his confidence. We just can't afford them little errors again. We just overcooked that last kick. We just need, I think it's the pitch. I don't want to make excuses, but we're just not used to playing on pitches small. But Bradford are playing the conditions well.
Golding to Robson. Marcus Stock comes in. Chris Bringing was the player that brought Ellis Robson down. Brough to Lilly, to Evans. Chris Clarkson does well. So too Sam Scott, the former Sheffield Batley man, in defence for the City Knights there. Oliver Wilson carries Bradford up to the 20-metre line. And Bradford on the 5th and last tackle. Golding to Brough. Clever inside kick. Pickersgill chasing. Mikey Lewis does exceptionally well there. And Lewis will take the tackle 2 metres out from the York try line. And those are the big plays that York need.
Yeah, definitely. Mikey's natural position, obviously, he's not fullback. He's been playing halfback at OKR, But obviously, Fordy sees something in him where he could make a great fullback, and it's just things like that. He's shown glimpses, especially here now when he's just took that scoot there. He's shown glimpses what he can do.
Mikey Lewis looking to energise this York City Knights attack. Liam Salter wrapped up on the 5th and last tackle. And Brendan O'Hagan put under a little bit of pressure there from Ellis Robson. This time Joe Brown, safety first. That one is going to hold up in the in goal. Oh, good collision there between Brown and Dixon. And Dixon, well, his tackle has forced the ball to have been spilt there. But the referee is going to say first knock on from Joe Brown. York have crossed in at the corner, but the try will not count here, as referee Ben Thaler is going to say it was a double knock on. But Joe Brown's error there is going to have York. Well, he's actually going to say head and feet to Bradford here. Oh, big decision here. Matty Marsh. Is this had try number 9 of the season disallowed, Morgan Smith?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened there. It looked like it was just a stone cold knock on from Bradford, but the officials have obviously seen something different and gave head and feet to Bradford.
I think Ben Thaler was saying that Kieran Dixon must have reefed the ball out facing the Bradford line, which would have constituted a York knock on, but very difficult to see from where we are at the back of the terracing here, in and amongst the supporters. But it is Bradford 24, York 12 here in the sunshine at Odsal Stadium. Goulding down the middle now with Eben Skur. It's almost a case of who blinks first in this second half as Goulding goes on a run out of dummy half. Wilson was calling for it down the middle. Bradford on the last tackle here. And they're going to go on the short side with Jordan Lilly. Back on the middle now with Pickersgill. Good defence though from the York City Knights. Adam Cuthbertson alert to the danger there of that inside support play from Brandon Pickersgill, who has been a try scorer in Bradford's last 3 games. He's got 4 for the season. And now York will look to move the ball down this middle field. And as we said, a lot of it's going to go down the middle due to the narrowness of the field. First penalty of the afternoon in the second half has gone to Mikey Lewis and York. Great awareness there from Mikey Lewis, catching Bradford not square.
Yeah, we just need to keep this pace now. We've come out the second half with some fire in us bellies. We're playing the game at pace, putting Bradford under pressure, and hopefully we can capitalise now and score some points.
6 minutes gone of the second half. Is the scoreboard about to change? Matty Marsh pushed back and dumped on his side. Ellis Robson, a good tackle there. Chris bringing to Cuthbertson. Huge tilt there, just on that left edge now. They might go short side, they go back down the middle. It goes with Clarkson. Clarkson head down. Big, thundering, powerful run there from Chris Clarkson. Bringing his in there at dummy half, O'Hagan. O'Hagan drops the shoulder, and York on that last tackle once again, just to the left-hand side of the Bradford post. Sam Scott to Marsh. Marsh kicks head into space, and Danny Brough, he does well and takes the tackle 2 metres out from his own try line. Will James Ford be happy with that end to that set of 6, Morgan Smith?
Yeah, definitely. I know it's not points, but if we can keep Bradford on their own line here, big defensive effort, it'll just tip them scales towards. Well, as I was saying, penalty again. We just keep coming back to the penalties. It's just releasing that pressure, and Bradford, they can just get the confidence back.
Bradford now awarded their first penalty of the second half. They're 8th in the game this afternoon. And Danny Broug's going to find touch over on the far stand side. And I think, Morgan, we've just got to give a bit of credit to some of the players out there. Certainly your halfbacks, your Lillys, your Broughs, your O'Hagans, your Marshes. The in-goal areas here are exceptionally tight. So what would be a conventional kicking game in rugby league is clearly disrupted this afternoon. Yeah,
definitely. You have to think a way around things, especially when we finished in that corner there. It wouldn't have been a bad option just to run it into the corner and let Bradford come out and bar up in defence.
Brandon Pickersgill brought down there. Ben Jones-Bishop, one of the York defenders. Ross Oakes out a dummy half. Game finally poised here at the start of this second half. Oliver Wilson offloads the ball. Referee says it's gone behind. And here goes Ashton Goulding looking for those willing runners, but there was no one in support. Brough out a dummy half to Pickersgill, out wide, chance for Brown, inside towards. That was rugby league poetry from the Bradford Bulls. The pitch is only 52 metres. Well, the Bradford Bulls then made it look 100 metres. Ross Oakes, his second try of the season, wearing the red, amber and black. And that could be a crucial score here, because Bradford now have a 3-score lead right at the start of this second half. And that was exposing defensive frailties over on the edges. It was the last tackle, Brough to Pickersgill. Ben Jones-Bishop went for a wild interception, and it was a simple inside support from Ross Oakes.
Yeah, I think it was Broughy there. Ash Golding left a man on the deck, and there was just one marker. Broughy spotted it, and it was just a simple 3-on-2. I think it was Brandon Pickersgill with the ball to Joe Brown, and it was just a nice assist from Brown for Oakes on the inside.
Danny Brough will attempt the conversion attempt here in the sunshine at Odsal. Just looking at some of the body language of the York players here. The message clearly coming on. Keep that 110% effort, scrap for every point, stand up, go out there. As Danny Brough adds the extra 2. And here at Odsal Stadium, a homecoming as such for the Bradford Bulls and John Keir. It is Bradford 30, York 12. We just see there again the referee, last tackle play, Pickersgill over the top. Ben Jones-Bishop, risky play, that left York short. And despite the short pitch, York just didn't have the numbers there, and Ross Oakes has that try. And now York another chance. This is the third time in this game, Morgan Smith, that York, after a Bradford try or after a Bradford points, they've got the ball back.
Yeah, we just need to make them count. We've, like you say, it's happened 3 times, but I don't think we've come away with points from it happening. So hopefully we can take this opportunity here and just get on the scoreboard.
James Green back out there on the field. Crucial period now. York do have to score next, you feel, as it goes from bringing. Goes to Scott. Scott's brought down on the second tackle. York trailing by 30 points to 12 here at a baking hot Odsal Stadium. Bringing now to Green against his former club. Push back in the field of play. Hungry, tenacious defence from the Bradford Bulls. And James Green, well, the referee's going to stop the clock because there was an entanglement of bodies and legs there. And James Green will be allowed to play the ball underneath the Bradford post. It's almost imperative now that York do score next. Marsh looks for those runners. Who is going to be that creative spark, that creative influence and catalyst that gets York back in this game? It's going to go to O'Hagan. O'Hagan to Atkins. Atkins coughs the ball up with a line begging. And is that the moment you feel after York? Another testing, tricky Kieran Dixon restart of not being able to turn possession in good field position into points. Here goes Viliki Japani, ex-British Army, Fijian international, plays the ball down the middle with Oliver Wilson. He just does the job, and with Dan Fleming having a 1-match suspension next week when Newcastle are here, he will just slot in nicely into John Keir's plans as Eben Skur, 21 years of age, a former Stanley Weatherby Jr., carries Bradford inside that York half, and Bradford on the last tackle in front of the post. Goes towards Danny Brough. That's going to put pressure on Mikey Lewis. They've allowed the ball to bounce here, but Ashton Golding inside the 10, and that is a relieving penalty there for the York City Knights, and now they will look to find touch. Still a long way to go in this one, Morgan Smith, 27 minutes, but as we said, what will be concerning for James Ford is that 18-point deficit on the scoreboard. Yeah,
definitely. There's just over 25 minutes to go. I think we definitely need to score next, just to narrow that gap and hopefully get his confidence up.
Well, as we said, York coming into this game this afternoon, they've won 4 of the last 5, and arguably Somehow, Veliki Japani has kept on to the ball, and Bradford turned defence into attack. But I was just about to say that round 5 defeat at the ULLEY Stadium, 16 points to 12. Oh boy, that was on par with anything we've seen that Super League has produced this year. But from that York error, Bradford looking to capitalise as it goes to Golding, to Brough. Brough's 5 metres out from that York try line, and York scrambling back. They want to preserve this 18-point deficit. If it blows out further, it might be good night, good afternoon, as it goes down the middle now with Sker. They're in front of the post. Golding talking towards Lily. Goes himself, Ashton Golding. Well, Danny Brough was calling for the ball, thinking about going for a 1 point there. That was the body language, that was the mindset. Back to Danny Brough, slots over the 1 point. Danny Brough opens up a 4-score lead between the Bradford Bulls and the York City Knights. And Danny Brough, in career game 504, is kicked 7 from 7 this afternoon, and he's now got his 3rd drop goal of the season.
Yeah, he just brings that wealth of experience, especially with the boot. I don't think he's missed a conversion this game, and he just knows when to turn that screw. We'll be down as morals at the minute, and he's just rubbing that salt into the wound.
Well, as we said, Morgan Smith, I was watching the body language, and Brough had just ever so slightly dropped back in the pocket as Kieran Dixon, well, Jordan Lilly, almost like a flipper on the side of a pinball machine, manages to deflect the ball, and Bradford somehow survive. Interesting of note here that the Newcastle head coach, Eamon O'Carroll, is in attendance. He's in the main stand watching this, because Newcastle, the visitors to Odsal next Sunday afternoon. So he'll be obviously trying to work out what sort of game plan do Newcastle have to bring, because as we said, you know, you have to be very patient on this very narrow playing surface, as Golding once again goes down the middle channel there, just doing the hard work in the metres forward. Fast approaching the hour mark here at Odsal Stadium. Aaron Murphy back out on the field, his 2nd spell in this game this afternoon. Bradford 31, York 12. Wilson now. Good muscling up in defence from Clarkson. Also Marcus Stock in defence. So too James Green. Danny Brough, bit of pinball, comes off the York man. The York player has it. The referee's going to say knock on, but which way is this going, Morgan Smith?
I'm not quite sure. There are a few factors this here.
He's going to give it to York.
Oh, there we go then.
I think they're going to say come off the Bradford arm first. It was a bit helter-skelter. Mikey Lewis plays the ball. Will jumps back out there on the field. Here goes Ben Jones-Bishop out of dummy half, up to halfway. Well, we've got 20 minutes remaining here. 31 points to 12. Bradford over York. As Jack Teambay's missed the last 7 for the City Knights, back from injury. He was one of the 2 changes that James Ford made this afternoon. As York go on that narrow side, attacking the edges here. That'll give them space in centre field. Jubb to Green. James Green looks for a quick play of the ball. It's a 6 again here that the Bulls have conceded right on that 5th and last tackle. So is this an opportunity for the York City Knights to get back in this game? Mikey Lewis, it goes towards Sam Scott, and Sam Scott is brought down metres away from that Bradford try line, and Sam Scott's conceded the penalty. He has pushed over Brandon Pickersgill as he was getting to play the ball, and stuff like that, Morgan Smith, will infuriate and incense James Ford, because that's stuff that York can control.
Yeah, we just don't need it. We've got I think we had 4 tackles left on Bradford's line to build pressure or come away with points, and we're just letting them off too easy. It comes down to his penalties again. It's just releasing that pressure. Bradford get up the field and just put it back on us.
Nigel Wood, the chairman and owner of the Bradford Bulls, did say in his programme article that he wants to express his sincere and thanks to York City Knights and Newcastle for their understanding while the refurbishment work continues here at Odsal Stadium. And as we said, the pitch corners, they're currently in production, and hopefully at the end of June, when Widnes are the visitors here in round 11, There's a high tackle there from Sam Scott. Has nearly taken the head off young Eben Skir there. The touch judges come on. I think it was ball first into Eben Skir's forehead, but Sam Scott, well, he'll be feeling the heat here. And referee Ben Failer is going to call him out. He wants a word. I don't think it's going to be anything more than a penalty to Bradford. The fans want to see a card, but Sam Scott's just in a little bit of hot water here as Chris Clarkson, the York captain, comes over. I think Eben Skir was ever just so slightly, well, you can hear the boos and jeers. Rugby League has found its soul again. I think we'll give credit to Sam Scott there. It looked like Eben Skir, as we see here on the replay. Oh, I don't know. Straight across the forehead, Morgan Smith. I think he's a lucky boy.
Yeah, it was a bit of a nasty one. He's not the tallest Evan, but we can't have collisions with the head in this game in this day and age. But I just noticed as soon as it happened, Jordan Lilly and Danny Brough, they wanted to play on, and I think that's the first time they've not took the option to kick the 2 points. So obviously they've got the tails up, and they can see that we're struggling a bit here, and they're just on top.
Saw that last week, certainly in the second half against the London Broncos. There were a couple of occasions. John Keir, 2 fingers in the air. He wanted to go for the 2 points, but Danny Brough overruled the head coach and decided that they would hunt for potentially 6 points. Eben Skir receiving attention here. Well, I think when we've seen the replay there, he can consider himself very lucky, Sam Scott. Well, Eben Skir just receiving a bit of attention here from the doctor and the Bradford Bulls physio. He gets the all clear, but he will leave the field for a HIA head injury assessment. And what a season Eben Skir's having. He's out of contract at the end of the year. It's no secret that clubs like Leeds, St Helens, Wigan, Warrington, Hulkingston Rovers are chasing his signature. Spoke to John Keir during the week about the contract talks for a number of players. John's happy with how things are progressing, and there should be some announcements in the coming weeks and months. Bradford, though, they now go hunting try number 5 of the afternoon. They've declined the 2 points. Goulding on that edge, missed time pass. That one's gone to ground into touch. York will breathe a huge sigh of relief. And we've just hit the hour mark here, Morgan Smith. 4 scores behind. I know it sounds like a mountain to climb, but York do have the players and the experience and that game management out there to turn this around.
Yeah, definitely. It just takes 2 quick back-to-back tries and we're right back into it. We just need to take his opportunity here, another penalty, work his way up the pitch, and we just need to score some points. I think it's crucial we come away with something on this set.
O'Hagan finds touch inside the Bradford half. For those that like the penalty count, Bradford have had 10 penalties so far, York 6, and the 6 agains have been 2 apiece. So the penalty count just started to even itself up here. I don't think we'll see Eben Skir again. He's gone straight down the tunnel, but Steve Crossley and Dan Fleming and Tom Doyle about to come on, so a triple interchange for John Keir and the Bulls as Mikey Lewis looks to stamp his authority on proceedings. A lovely ball! That was wonderful, and Chris Clarkson will get the York City Knights back in this game. 19 minutes remain here at Odsal, and it's Bradford 31, York 16. That pass from Mikey Lewis, that cut out through the Bulls' defence.
Yeah, I think Mikey playing fullback, it just adds another dimension to his game. I've not played much fullback myself, but there's a bit less structure, and when it comes to plays like that, he's able to pull them off. And Clarkey, he's dependable and he's reliant, and he's our captain, so he's come away with some good points for us there.
Chris Clarkson, a try scorer last week, as York registered their first win at their new impressive £40 million LNER Stadium facility. He's got back-to-back tries, 2 for the season. Kieran Dixon from in front. He adds a crucial 2 points. Well, Bradford did have a 4-score lead. It's down to 3, and it's 31 points to 18, and it's all going to be about this restart now from the York City Knights. They want a strong set after getting their first try in the second half.
Yeah, I don't think Bradford will be worrying too much because there's a nice little buffer, but as I was saying, we need some quick tries, and one more would do us nicely. There's still plenty left, 18 minutes ago, and hopefully we can get us confidence and go up the other end now.
Bradford decide to go long. Ben Jones-Bishop does well. Here goes Jubb. Jubb to Scott. Scott's heading towards touch, but somehow smuggles the ball behind his right shoulder, and Ryan Atkins keeps and maintains possession for the York City Knights. Well, as we said, of the 6 previous meetings, 4 of the games involving Bradford and York have been decided by just 2 points or less. So if history is to repeat itself, strap yourselves in, because York are going to come back with the kitchen sink and the culinary draw in the final 17 and a half minutes here, as we see Danny Kermond brought down there by Aaron Murphy, 30 metres out from that Bradford try line, as York on that last tackle on the restart after points. It's going to go to Brendan O'Hagan. High hanging kick, but that's a great take there from Mitiele Veliki-Japani, and the ex-British Army did well. He took it from the field of play, and this is a good turnover ball for the York City Knights, because Bradford now, well, they're going to have to attack from deep. And as we said, York will try and hunt the mirror. Ben Jones-Bishop, what do you reckon, Morgan? Just a little bit of a knock?
It looks like he's struggling with his hammy a bit. We saw on that kick chase, he wasn't his usual self. He didn't even get down to where the ball landed. So he's in the line still here, but I'm not sure if he'll last.
Yeah, Ben Jones-Bishop does appear to be limping on this main stand side. Have the Bulls been alerted to that? Danny Brough will kick from deep. Well, that was going to be a real difficult one for Mikey Lewis. The sun shining down on the 19-year-old's forehead there in the face. And Mikey Lewis, what a great season he's having. He'll be looking to spend this initial 1 month loan at the York City Knights, gain that experience, try and force his way back into Tony Smith's first team plans. He's had 4 appearances already for Hull Kingston Rovers so far this season. As we see Will Jubb take the ball out of dummy half, and Bradford, like you say, Morgan Smith, will be well aware of the clock and the game management here now. Free score lead as that scoreboard and clock really do come into view, as Yorker 5 metres inside the Bradford half. 31 points to 18, and that's an error from young Mikey Lewis out of dummy half. Just a short ball. Mikey Lewis holds his hand up, apologises, and plays like that, Morgan Smith. Bradford just happy to soak that up.
Yeah, as you've seen all game, we're just his own worst enemy, whether it be errors, penalties, just little decisions like that. We're just letting us foot off the gas, and Bradford, it just gives them a rest, and they just come at us now.
The Bulls fans beating the drum, the supporters, the heartbeat of any rugby league club. And with 15 minutes remaining here, Bradford 31, York 18. And Steve Crossley. Now Doyle out of dummy half. 30 metres out from that York try line. Jordan Lilly to Crossley, to Brough, to Pickersgill. Matty Marsh does well. Good defensive read, slid across. Very effective in defence, Matty Marsh. Last tackle for the Bulls. Brough, that's took a little bit of a ricochet, but York will be happy, and they'll now have to play the ball with Liam Salter 5 metres out from his own try line. Well, there's been a bit of a ooh-ah about the academy decision, certainly at half-time. A lot of fans coming to talk to me and Morgan Smith about the academy decision, but, you know, in this York City Knights side, you've got Matty Marsh, Liam Salter, Will Jubb, James Green, Mikey Lewis. They've all homegrown players who've come off the Hull Kingston Rovers production line, and it doesn't need me to say that the Bradford Bulls have players like Brandon Pickersgill, Joe Brown, Ross Oakes, Tom Doyle, Steve Crossley, Eben Skerr out there on the field. Also Oliver Wilson. Expect more next week from Bradford chairman Nigel Wood on the club, and if they are going to appeal it. Last tackle here for the York City Knights. Jubb to O'Hagan, looking to catch Brown out. Brown is out of position, but the bounce of the ball's kind for the Bulls, and Brown will recover possession, and he will meet Chris Clarkson head on. Well, 13 minutes left. Have York got it in a Morgan Smith to pull this one back from the jaws of defeat?
I hope so. We've definitely got the players that can do it. The Mavericks, Mikey Lewis, Matty Marsh, Kieran Dixon. We just need to get in the right positions on the field. Bradford are just playing well here. They're playing conditions well. They're putting us under pressure consistently.
Aaron Murphy. Oh, big thunderous tackle, threw himself into it. Chris Bringen, who's back out there on the field for the City Knights, did exceptionally well. Steve Crossley carries it in. Well, it's almost like the Bees rejecting a new queen there. They were smothering Steve Crossley. Not happy with the scented smell. Here goes Lily to England. England, good line running. A high tackle there once again from Sam Scott. He is on very thin ice with referee Ben Thaler. And this one might be 2 points for Danny Brough if he fancies it. It's in range. And once again, Morgan Smith, without trying to sound like a broken record, York, they're the architects of their own downfall this afternoon.
Yeah, definitely. It's just been the story of the game. It's those penalties. I'm not sure what penalty count is at the minute, but Bradford heavily...
11-6 to Bradford.
Well, there you go. You can't afford it. It's just set after set, tackle after tackle, and especially in these conditions, it just makes a massive difference.
Bradford now know a try here would firmly put this game to bed, and the party will start in earnest. The homecoming. Jordan Lilly now to Pickersgill. Pickersgill twisting and turning. Well, Evans was calling for the ball, but in the end he said to Brandon, you take the tackle. Good defence though from O'Hagan. In front of the post now with Fleming. One of 4 Welsh internationals in this Bradford side. It goes left with Doyle to Brough. Aaron Murphy somehow keeps the ball going. Pat a cake, try. No, he's held up on his back there as Ross Oakes. This twist and turn, last tackle play for the Bulls. Jordan Lilly has lost the ball, but then the York City Knights have come up with an error. Lilly's pass went behind him. You could see what was trying to happen. Adam Cuthbertson launched himself out of that York defensive line, and the pressure will continue here for the Bradford Bulls with 10 minutes remaining. So more defending in hot, humid, muggy conditions. And Steve Crossley just happy to take the tap, and he'll play the ball behind him to Doyle. Here goes Evans. Bradford just knocking on that door. Doyle, Brough, Lilly, Pickersgill. Brought down 5 metres out from that York try line. 31 points to 18. If anything, this second set of 6 now that the Bulls are having inside the York 10 metre line is running time off the clock. Fleming. Doyle to Crossley. Steve Crossley. Oh, Will Jubb did well. Went for that ball carrying arm. Brings down Steve Crossley. Is it delaying the inevitable? Brough to Pickersgill. Out wide to Brough. To Brown, sorry. And Brown's bungled and barreled over into touch. Good sliding defence. Good effective defence there from the York City Knights.
Yeah, we needed that definitely. That were a big test of character there. Joe Brown did well to catch that, but we just had too many men around the ball and unfortunately forced him into touch.
Well, I'll give you a bit of a score update. It's Batley 14, Swinton 12. Real close one there. It is Halifax 8, Featherstone Rovers 16. So that game's still in doubt. It's Dewsbury 10, London 30. And look at this for a scoreline. Sheffield 22, Whitehaven 25. I don't like to blow my own trumpet, Morgan, but I said at the start it's going to be the most competitive round, and it's certainly turning itself into. That was only purely based on the positions of the clubs, knowing that when you've got 2 keen sides. And here, hang on the second, York keeping it going. Atkins was looking to get the ball out. Dixon couldn't take it in, and that's a chance gone begging. But I was just going to say there, before Ryan Atkins got that ball out, real competitive round of Championship Rugby League. And this one, not over yet, 31 points to 18. That Danny Brough drop goal in the 56th minute, giving Bradford that vital breathing space. I'll ask you in a couple of minutes' time, Morgan Smith, for your Our League man of the match this afternoon, as we see Ross Oakes knocking on the door, 30 metres out. York need to hunt and find an error from the Bradford Bulls. Lilley to Pickersgill, to Evans. Good defence though from Ryan Atkins, wrapping up the Welsh international. Last tackle play here for the Bulls. That looks to have a little bit too much on it. No, they're going to let it bounce. It's in the in-goal area. It's live. Bradford are going to claim an absolutely audacious try, and that will be the game to date. Danny Brough, 7 from 7, a drop goal, and that's his 3rd try assist of the afternoon.
I just can't believe that. I think kick went higher than stands, and it just held up, especially in these in-goals, but yeah, good skill from Bradford to regather, and I think that's just put the nail in the coffin for us, unfortunately. Sad to say, but if you just watch it back here, everybody in the stadium thought it had gone miles dead.
Well, Mikey Lewis lets it bounce. Joe Brown, fastest to react, and he's got a 2nd try of the afternoon. Nothing wrong with that. Ball grounded before the dead ball line. And was that perhaps just a little bit of an experience from 19-year-old Mikey Lewis there? To be fair to Mikey Lewis, he does have the sun shining down on him, but that will put the game to bed. And I didn't expect this one to blow out like it's doing. Bradford 35, York 18, as Danny Brough adds an extra 2 points here, and that will tick the scoreboard over to 37-18. Well, it's eyes on the 1895 Cup next weekend for the York City Knights, Morgan Smith.
Yeah, definitely. That's a big game for us with Wembley at stake, but these games are important as well, especially going towards the fixtures in the league table. Bradford are a top quality side, and we expect them to be up there as well as ourselves, and we need to beat teams like this and just be competitive throughout.
Well, I said it was audacious. Watching it back on the replay, to allow the ball to bounce twice in the in-goal area like that, well, we're only talking 6 metre in-goal area, so there is minimum standard as minimum standard comes. And Joe Brown, like a thief, a poacher in the night, somehow on the 2nd bounce applied the downward pressure. Joe Brown, 6 tries now for the season. Well, we've got 5 minutes to go in this game, Morgan Smith. Who's your Our League man of the match and why?
We've had some top performers, in my opinion. Brandon Pickersgill at fullback for Bradford, Joe Brown on the wing, scored 2 tries, and he's come up with some strong carries. But my man of the match is Danny Brough. He's been instrumental throughout this game. I think you said he had 3 try assists. He's not missed a goal kick in how many? 8? Dropped a goal, so he's done more or less everything, and he's just been pulling the strings. I've just been watching closely, and he's not put a foot wrong, really, and he's just been directing Bradford around the pitch, and he's played a massive part in this win.
Danny Brough, Bradford's number 6, the Our League man of the match, and as we said, it's that game management and that experience. And I go back to a conversation I had with Nigel Wood a couple of months ago. You know, when Danny Brough was available, Nigel, John Keir, they wanted Danny Brough for that game management. And after 8 rounds, you know, Danny Brough is certainly pulling the strings nicely for the Bradford Bulls. This is going to be win number 6 of the season, and this will be 6 games undefeated now for John Keir and the Bulls. And the host Newcastle here next Sunday, and they'll fancy the chances in that game, as will York against Swinton at the Eleniere Stadium in the 1895 semi-final. A place at Wembley at stake for the City Knights next weekend. They will go again. Joe Brown, another hot contender for that Our League man of the match this afternoon. Did well in the sun, under pressure from Chris Clarkson. as York now just have to set their defensive stall up. They probably don't want to concede any more further points here as Eben Sker goes on a run, and Eben Sker carries Bradford 18 metres shy of halfway. Gets to play the ball in down the middle channel. Wilson. Couple of tackles remaining here for the Bradford Bulls. Once again, Danny Brough kicks into space, turns around the York City Knights. Joe Brown just dropping back there with Pickersgill. Dan Fleming leaves the field. There's a bit of pushing and shoving at the ruck there between Danny Brough and Mikey Lewis. Referee Ben Failer just come across and sorted it out, but we're good to continue as Kieran Dixon is going to get to play the ball in. Here goes Atkins. Atkins, lovely ball. Here come York on this main stand side. Sam Scott is being dragged by the shirt, the coattails, into touch by Mitiele Maliki Japani. And Sam Scott, well, he can smile on his face there. I'm not quite sure what a back row forward was doing out on the wing, but as you said, with Ben Jones-Bishop, the hamstring pulling up, I guess you've got to rotate the positional places, but if Ben Jones-Bishop's there, Morgan Smith, I'm going to say Ben Jones-Bishop has a 60-metre foot race and scores York's 4th try.
What are you trying to say about Scotty?
I'm not trying to say anything about Scotty.
Saw some flames coming from his boots then.
I'm sure you could have a laugh with him in training, but credit where credit's due. It was a real tremendous turn of pace down this main stand side. Danny Brough, the Our League man of the match, is chosen by Morgan Smith. Doyle now to Crossley. Crossley's brought down. Rolled over on his back for good measure. Here comes Doyle, Lilly, Sker. Just an absolute workhorse as he dives to the floor there. Lilly now. Puts a bit of reverb on the pass on the inside to Pickersgill. 4th tackle gone here for the Bulls. We're in the final 60 seconds of this game here, as it goes down the middle with Eben Sker. Last tackle is Danny Brough about to stamp his mark on proceedings again. Or will the disco short to Lilly? No, they're not. They're going to go to Danny Brough, and he's going to try his luck again down the middle, looking to put Mikey Lewis under pressure. Ball bounces, ball is live. Bradford have it up with Lilly. Lilly on the last tackle still. Lilly now to Pickersgill. Pickersgill plots a course to the line, decides to take the tackle. Good defence, Chris Clarkson, Sam Scott. It was a very much Harlem Globetrotter stuff there from the Bulls, trying to keep that one going. And with 30 seconds or so remaining in this game, Kieran Dixon's just going to run the ball out. And we'll just focus a little bit, Morgan, as the hooter sounds here. There we go, full time, Bradford 37, York 18. Well, Odsal Stadium, maybe the venue that has come back from the dead. Just listen to the noise here. 4,000 passionate supporters. And as we said, the return to Odsal Stadium, not only has it lifted the club and the supporters, but it has lifted the city. It has been a victorious start to life back at Odsal for John Kerr and the Bradford Bulls. They make it 6 wins on the bounce. They now take their percentage win rate up to 86%. For the York City Knights, it's only their 2nd defeat in 5. And they now will focus, Morgan Smith, on what is probably a crucial game for the season for York, because they beat Swinton next week. The York supporters get a day out at Wembley.
Yeah, definitely. Not only for the players, it's what dreams are made of to play at Wembley, but for the fans as well. Just the spectacle of being in Wembley and watching your team play. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and many people don't get to experience it. So, yeah, hopefully we can get the win next week and have a big occasion and game down in Wembley.
When you look at this game, what was the difference between the two sides, did you feel?
Just the discipline and the penalties, errors, the foot off the gas, and Bradford just took the game by the scruff of the neck, and the